What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I want to take a look at a light heavyweight by the name of Al Gainer. Now, Al Gainer, he fought under the name of New England Cyclone. That goes to tell you a part of his character. He was alias Allen Nelson Gainer. He was born September 10th, 1910 in Greta, Florida, and fought out of New Haven, Connecticut. He was the age of 16 when he began his professional career on September 26, 1910. He stood 5'11" and weighed 165 to 186 pounds. His fighting record was 76-25-6 with 41 knockouts. Now Gainer carried a punch that was what they called a mule kick. He fought fighters such as Jim Braddock. Jim Braddock was a heavyweight champion of the world. He took that title away from Max Baer and lost the title to Joe Louis. He also fought Bob Olin. Bob Olin was a light heavyweight champion and lost his title to John Henry Lewis. He fought Lou Burlard. Lou Burlard was a welterweight and middleweight champion of the world. He would fight two-ton Tony Galento, Tiger Jack Fox, Lou Scouser, Paul Cavalier. Paul Cavalier was a phenomenal fighter. He was a trainer of mine at Lenny Shore's boxing gym. And he also refereed the fight between Sugar Ray Robinson and Charlie Fusari, and the famous Tony Zale and Rocky Graziano, just to name a few. He would fight Donald Red Barry, Frankie Sims, Charlie Massara. Charlie Massara was a Joe Louis opponent. Dave Shade. Dave Shade fought fighters such as Mickey Walker and Ace Huskins. Very good fighter. Al Burrows. Al McCoy. He wound up becoming a champion. Frankie Wine. George Courtney. I'm just naming these at the top of my head. But he was a very, very good fighter. So let's take a look at some of the fighters that Al Gainer fought. Now, in 1930, he would face a fighter by the name of Bruno Sala. Fought him twice, February 13, February 27, both in New Haven, Connecticut. Lost to him in 6 rounds and had a technical knockout in 3 rounds. He would fight Willie Bush, March 6, Waterbury, Connecticut, and would knock him out in 3 rounds. He would fight Joe Gainer. Joe Gainer, he would knock him out in 3 rounds on April 15th in 1930. This fight took place in New Haven, Connecticut. He would face Ralph Barber on June 5th, 1930. This fight took place in West Haven, Connecticut, and he would knock him out in 1 round. And he would fight fighters such as Jack Kelly, Leo Levaris, Willie Feldman, Dave Shade. Now, Dave Shade fought Abe Feldman. Abe Feldman was a very good fighter. And like I said, he would fight Mickey Walker, and he would fight Ace Huskins. Dynamite fighter was Dave Shade. As I mentioned to you before, he fought Jimmy Braddock. Jimmy Braddock would face Tommy Farr, Joe Louis, Max Baer, Leo Lomsky, Al Gainer himself, Abe Feldman, just to name a few. Bob Olin. Now, Bob Olin stood 6 foot tall. He weighed between 171 and 185 and a half pounds. He would fight Lou Burlard. He would fight him twice. He would lose to him. But Lou Burlard was a very good fighter. John Henry Lewis, who he would lose the title to in 1935. Gus Lesnevich, who would be light heavyweight champion, lost to him. Johnny Risco, they called him the Cleveland Baker Boy. He would lose to Johnny Risco. Johnny Risco was a good fighter. He would also face Teddy Zurad, another good fighter. So Bob Olin was a very good test for Al Gainer. He would face George Nichols. He would face Maxie Rosenblum. Maxie Rosenblum had 200 fights. Plus, Maxie Rosenblum would face Harry Greb, who would be middleweight champion of the world. Jack Delaney, light heavyweight champion of the world. Tiger Flowers, middleweight champion of the world. Jamaica Kid, outstanding fighter. Just to name a few. On December 19th, 1932, he would face Charlie Ballinger. He would defeat him in 10 rounds. Charlie Ballinger was light heavyweight champion of Canada. Charlie Ballinger would fight fighters such as Kid Norfolk. He would fight Nobby Joe Gans. Baby Joe Gans, just to name a few. Fascinating fighter. So I just wanted to go over Al Gainer's career. He's a phenomenal fighter. I don't want to place him in my Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series because the time in which he came, the fighters that he fought and defeated. And I wanted to pay homage to an outstanding fighter such as Al Gainer. So salute Al Gainer. This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Salute to my subscribers. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Salute.